Welcome to the Fighting Couch Potato. I am Kadolfi Crush, and I'm joined by my boy Liquid Gold Steve.
What up, y'all? Thank you for listening.
Today, we're going to be discussing a cool little 90s anime movie.
What you mean cool, man? That was the weirdest movie I've ever seen.
Is that the weirdest word to use for that movie? How about edgelordiest movie from the 90s?
From the 90s.
It's one of the like edgiest, lordiest, edgy lord movies.
It's an anti-hero movie, man.
Is it an anti-hero? It's a anti-establishment movie, if you ask me. We're talking about Dark Side Blues.
It came out in 1940 or 1944. Jesus.
1940, back when Astro Boy, back when Godzilla was still
the first Godzilla.
Good ass movie.
It came out in 1994.
1994. Man, shit, the 90s were a kick-ass time for anime, especially nice, dark anime.
Because everyone loved just the trench coat wearing, brooding, good-looking guy.
I mean, he was kind of like the Crow with a nice trench coat. I mean,
I'm not going to say he didn't look cool with the spurs on and everything. And like, why did he need the spurs? He was using
a stagecoach.
He was using a stagecoach.
So, all right, before we get too crazy into this, all right. So it's a dystopian future where a corporation owns 90% of the Earth's land, the Earth's dry land, as they call it. They own 90% of it. And they, the last 10% of the land that isn't owned by the corporation and their family, they're primarily, most of the people are in Tokyo, in a little town in Tokyo called Kabukicho.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this corporation Disney?
Probably used to be.
Probably used to be. Like it was a whole, like everything came together.
The corporation now is called Persona. When you first kick this little movie off, the first thing you actually get, besides explosions, explaining a kind of like a quick cut of a previous war or a conflict or something that happened. But the very next thing you get is you get one of the people in Persona torturing a young lady. She's torturing this young lady because apparently this young lady and 9 others broke into a Persona base and destroyed the control room.
A dummy control room.
Unfortunately, 9 of these people lost their lives because it was a dummy control room. We have one of the head members of Persona, young lady. What was her name again, Steve?
Tamaki.
Like
it sounds like teriyaki, but Tamaki, she was, I would hate. Like she's the best. Like she was the ninja in the Leaf that knew how it was like
the torturer in the Leaf.
The dude that was known for torturing people.
Yeah. So apparently
being a sadist and everything.
Apparently she beat this woman pretty severely. And then once she got the information she needed or that she could extract from the woman, she stuffed these 2 electrical rods in the woman's ribcage and then turned the girl into gold while she was alive. And then talked to her about it. It was like, man, it must suck to turn to gold while you're alive. Like she was really casual about it, as if she wasn't doing anything wrong. Like,
because she's a sadist.
Yeah, like she was doing it like she wasn't causing pain to anybody.
You just imagine your guts, your stomach, like everything in your midsection.
Your ribs.
Because she didn't fully turn into gold. Like her father came down.
Brother.
Was
her brother? Which they were when they were talking to
my
their
fault.
dad.
I thought Gurren was the father.
Nah, he's the brother. He's the next up. He's the next in charge. Like after father passes or passes it on or whatever.
Okay, my fault.
What do you call it when someone's next up?
The successor.
Yeah, Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to the thing. But her brother Gurren shows up and she's wondering why the girl ain't turning fully gold. He says it's going to take 120 seconds. So this girl's in pain for her last little bit of life she has.
And what's kind of insane about it is for a moment it like stops, and like in the movie they kind of hint around that like there's gonna be like a dimensional wave that you'll be able to see for like half a second, and they were gonna report it to Garen, but he was busy watching Tamaki torture this girl, and when the girl didn't transform, Tamaki said the machine stopped. And right about then, we actually get our first view of Earth and of Kabuki Cho.
The dark side of Tokyo.
Dark side.
Dark side. And we meet one of the baddest men on the planet. Well, in Kabuki Cho.
Nah, on the planet.
Kitari. This man is feeble. Like he's about to like kill over if he don't have like a donut and some water.
He need a biscuit.
He need a biscuit and some
Little
water.
fella need a
Even if a
biscuit.
Popeyes biscuit showed up, he would need it. I'd get some water for him, but he need that. And there's three. He's looking through I feel like it's a looking glass. Like something about that looking glass is main.
He was like able to see that dimensional shift coming. I think that's why he was where he was at. He was up on top of a building or whatever. And I think that's why he was able to like look through the glass. But before we get too crazy far, essentially this dimensional rift opens up a giant black hole in the middle of Kabuki Cho. And this big black hole on the inside, you start to hear horse hoofs and a carriage. Sounds like a horse-drawn carriage. And out of this black hole comes this amazing dude. Just like, he looks like if Prince's Purple Rain outfit was all black. And then on his boots, he had spurs. And he had, Japanese guy with dark hair, short dark hair. This dude didn't really speak. He didn't really, I don't know, he didn't really show any emotion. He was completely emotionless. But before we go way too far, we actually have a main character in this movie, and it's not Darkseid.
That's the name of the pretty boy edgelord.
Darkseid.
Darkseid. He asked one of the characters, like, what is the name of this place? They gave him the real answer.
Right.
Darkseid.
Darkseid. Well, she told him, she goes, well, she gave him like the whole fucking rundown. Like it's the last fucking piece of Tokyo. It's he said, what's the name of this place? And it's like, this place has been around for 10 million years. Here, let me tell you every part of its history in the last 30. And it's like, woman, what is the name of this town?
He took the seventh word and was like,
Darkseid. I like that. That sounds cool.
That's cool.
That matches. I came out of a dark hole. I got a dark jacket. My horses are dark. My carriage is dark. That makes sense. I'll go with Darkseid.
I think he's a real guy. I think he just doesn't want to say a lot of words.
I don't have a whole lot to say. But
all right.
So the character he was talking to was actually our main character, Mai. Mai's a young lady. I don't even know how old she was. Did they ever say?
What I get to this movie is,
hold on, man.
It's kind of like Kids Next Door. How like they're teenagers. Not in the same. It's like they're like 8, 17, 19, like something like that.
Young adults,
but not young. That's not young adults. It's like end of teenager.
18 is
an adult.
Is a young adult.
Because when
and you know how anime is shit. 12-year grown.
What's her name? Sela, the girl with the AK, or not the AK?
Oh, with the rifle.
Celia. Because Celia acts like she's older than them. Like she wasn't the leader, but she was an older
person,
member of the group, the Messiahs.
The Messiahs. So
it's like a biker gang.
Our main character, she runs the Messiahs, which is essentially like a anti-establishment terrorist gang. Doesn't seem like there's a whole shit ton of them, but the 4 or 5 you get to meet,
realest in the room.
Oh yeah, pretty cool kids, man. Mai and her number 2,
Kenzo.
with his thick neck.
Hey, don't talk about that thick neck. He has a master's he majored in electric engineering.
Yeah, he's actually he's a giant lughead, but he's smart as shit.
And he can pull off a torture rack really well.
Dude can pull off a really good. He looks like Max Thunder.
Don't lie. He looks like me.
It's also kind of what Liquid Gold Steve looks like. Kinda.
Kinda.
And the other two members of her group are
Jingo.
Jingo, which you
I
hear
thought it
him.
was Chinko.
You hear him speak once,
2 times.
twice. Is it twice he speaks?
Get out of the way, mine. And
Oh,
and then she pushes him out the way.
And then it's like, hey man, don't even go for it. And then yeah. So, and then you have Chris, the knife. We'll get to Chris. We'll get to Chris in just a little while. Because, man.
So Gaddafi, this movie starting out like the first 25 minutes kind of gets you the understanding where everything is at.
Yeah.
And how they're going to they have terrorists. The corporation doesn't run everything. There's special people. There's a special group of mercenaries called the AP, the Anti-Persona Guard. Yep. With the one terrorist that stays alive, they're chasing after him. They have alchemy in this movie.
Somewhat.
How do you think they make those
enhanced humans?
Enhanced humans.
Well, I mean, okay. We had old girl using electric rods to turn another person into gold, right? And this wasn't her first time doing it. That's
a torture device.
Yeah. That's something they know what's up. So I wouldn't necessarily say alchemy, but there's certainly some kind of like weird science going on.
But yes, the Persona Guard, but the actual Persona people, they send out enhanced humans to fight this terrorist.
Right.
Hey, man. The first one, the little Chinese man, I'll give it to him. The little Chinese man, I'll give it to him. This Batman, the gray Batman,
the white Batman.
No, that man was garbage. That was like a B team. Like I was a B teamer all the way tomorrow,
all day. So what's going on for this movie to kind of move forward? Because like Darkseid's here, but he's only talking about renewal. Like that's 90% of his lines in the movie.
I think he said it 4 times.
I think like that's mostly what he said, except for like at the end of the movie when he monologued. But besides that, renewal. You're not talking about renewal. Why are you discussing this with me if it's not renewal?
All right. No more renewals, please.
Renewal. He was all about it.
Do you believe this? Like, the Mirage Hotel shows you that there is magic in this world.
Yeah.
There's not just, and that's the odd thing. How that seems so out of place in this movie.
Magic.
You think about it. He even tells you at the end, this was Persona made. This darkness was Persona made.
Right.
So it's either scientific or there's magic in this thing because they have the Mirage Hotel. They have alchemy. Pretty much alchemy turns into healing potions, but
they have access to not just to see other dimensions, but to actually access them. I say that because they discuss 2 or 3 times in the movie about Darkseid. They never explicitly say that like, hey, this character Darkseid is this guy, but they discuss about taking a 3-year-old and tossing him into another dimension. And that was 18 years ago. And
so he's turning 1.
Right. He matured super fast according to them. But it's been 18 years and he's back.
I don't believe it's actually the 3-year-old. Like, whatever that 3-year-old was going to be, he says there's more people in there, which I believe he has like a multiple. It's not like it's a life force. He's just the main talker. Like he's the face of it,
of the dark side,
of the dark side,
of the darkness.
of the darkness.
Well, if he's the main if he's the main figurehead for the darkness, then why is he the one capable of repairing people's dreams, so to speak? And mostly with that, what I think that means is that instead of like repairing their dreams, I think he's helping people get through darknesses that haunt them, get the demons off their back.
So you're saying he's the therapy?
Almost, but more like how Professor X does it. How he gets into your head and like unlocks the shit that's in your way and allows you to open up all the way.
That's why he kept on dropping the necklace for the necklace or the little bracelet.
The one she put on? The one she...
Yeah, the one that
Right.
got...
It was her who kept dropping it. Or she only dropped it once and he returned it to her once.
No, he was making that thing appear. He was. And the second time after the thing that happened, like she finally unlocked Gurren, not Gurren doing the thing, but that was only in her imagination. That was only in her darkness.
Yeah, when
But was that with the necklace? That necklace was only in the darkness. That was a reminder of her darkness.
he handed her the necklace in the light. Out in the streets after she had her situation with Garen.
Then how did it appear right beside her after the second dream treatment? Getting back to your point
I don't know
about
what the fuck you're talking about right now. We'll get there.
getting back, okay,
There's actually a
all
lot
right.
to debate about
Hold
and
on.
like actually discuss with this movie. So like,
Getting back to your point about he's the figurehead. Look at the president. The president has the power to do anything.
no, he doesn't.
No, you don't. But
No, he don't.
let's just say that per se. Okay, the dictator of the fucking darkness, him, can use power wherever he wants to.
Right, but a dictator is not a figurehead. A dictator,
Getting to the point, he's
the dictator is the absolute, right? He's the absolute fucking say so in the country or whatever, right? And that's what I'm kind of getting at with Darkseid. It seems like he absolutely has control of this power, and he's here with a looking casual as shit. He's here to do some real work. Purple rain, but
dude,
purple rain.
he's looking at you like, you gonna come?
Got that Conway Twitty look in his eye.
He ain't got the hair though, thank God. Oh my God, that would be so scary.
You saw how Mai acted when she met him.
Kenzo was like an afterthought. Kenzo wasn't going to get it before, and he's never going to get it now.
There's a lot to debate about as far as like even just the small bits and pieces. Because like as we're discussing this movie, we're trying our damnedest to not just tell the whole movie. Because this is one of those ones that like even if we did try to tell the whole movie, you wouldn't understand what the fuck's going on. You have to watch it and maybe a time or two, kind of like Paprika.
I don't even think Paprika was this disjointed, but it felt like a disjointed movie.
It felt disjointed, but not really. Like you knew what everybody was doing, especially when you spent time with the Messiahs and the Messiahs with the AP fella. When you spent time with them, like their story was clear as shit. It was like they had a goal, they had a thing they were doing, but then there was Darkseid over here doing Darkseid shit, which confused every fucking thing.
If you've seen the movie, comment down below. Tell if we're telling the truth or not.
I think Darkseid complicated every damn thing in a good way.
He made people get past their darkness.
He helped them get past their darkness, and without Darkseid showing up in Japan, we never would have got that OG fella called from Africa.
Oh yeah, Enji.
Enji, that's his name. You got all the names better than I do this time around. Thank you. But you wouldn't have got him showing up, and that dude was pretty hardcore.
He reminded me. Okay, when he got angry, he looked like Baki. For some reason, he looked like Baki.
It was the red hair, wasn't it?
It wasn't the red hair; it was the face.
Oh,
The face really kind of like Baki. Not the new Baki, like older '90s Baki.
right.
But yeah, man, he was. What was the dude? There was a guy that he reminded me of. Not Harang. I don't think he looked like not like like a acting like how he acted. Kind of reminded me of can't think of the top of my head, but he was a cool he was a smooth talking like son of a gun. He knew how to smooth talk to ladies, and he was a gentleman.
He was a gentleman. He took charge of situations.
And he throw hands.
A motherfucker throw a pebble at you and sends you through a wall.
He didn't throw no pebble at nobody. He flicked people.
He flicked a pebble at them.
Bullshit.
That's what went through their heads.
Is that what he was crunching in his hands? Or was that him like...
Nah, that was him just flexing, cracking his knuckles.
He's like, oh, you wanted a real fight? Oh, I can show you a real fight.
He just flexed just flicked the pebbles at their heads and killed them dead.
Out of the whole movie, best fight.
There weren't really a lot of fights, so to speak.
So you have a very choice amount of some.
Yeah, it's not an action-packed movie, first of all, before I answer that question. It's not an action-packed thriller.
Drama action.
It's
top drama, second action.
I'd say
third suspense, fourth thriller.
A suspense with a dash of action.
You can be a drama suspense.
The suspense with a dash of action. And of course, I feel like suspense always means drama to me, but I could be wrong. I guess they are two different genres. Fair enough. However, to answer your question, best fight in the whole movie? So, the Messiahs are trying to disrupt one of these the satellite for Persona. So they take a cardboard box, some duct tape, a tin can, and create a rocket launcher out of it. Because apparently, Kenzo is the fucking man in the hat.
Big old thick neck motherfucker.
So he shoots this bitch in outer space, blasts just like the perfect like antenna for the satellite, so they can they can unjam frequencies so that the AP can make contact with his people, so that way he can get rescued.
After Kenzo made the cell phone so he could call his homies so he could get the fuck out of there.
Kenzo with very limited material, he is like the Joel of that time. That dude is amazing when it comes to crafting shit.
I like what he says after he shoots the rocket. He says, "Man, the Persona recruit should have been looking at me."
And Chris, the first thing he actually says is, they wouldn't look for you because they don't use tin and cardboard in their products. Right after this, Darkseid shows up, popping shit, talking about, hey man, that was kind of a dumbass idea. You don't just that was kind of a dumb fuck idea, but
he said it very cordially, but like it was straight up like him saying, you did some fucked up shit, right?
You know you're fucked up, right? And he goes, well, I'll tell you what, now you have a chance to show me how well you can fight. Camera pans up to the top of the building, and this fella in all white jumps down with claws. He runs through acting like he gonna do something crazy. You imagine a fella with like a gremlin face, a short buzz cut, claw hands, and like a white shirt, like a long cloak, like a long white cloak all around him. And he's got the crazy look, that fucking kind of laugh going on, and kind of an average gremlin-esque dude. Well, he runs up, tries to attack them. Mai dodges. Dude talks about, all right, you're kind of fast. And then Chris walks up.
The knife.
He walks up and says, yeah, but the leader of the Messiahs is pretty fast. And then the goblin man slashes at Chris. And Chris ducks it and pulls out the knife off his back waistband. Chops dude's arm right off and says, well, I got a little reputation of my own. From what looked like less than 10 yards away, this goblin man, with his arm that had been sliced off, fires rockets, 2 rockets, out of his arm. They start going right to Chris. Mai freaks out talking about, oh, it's too close. Chris uses his knife work, dances around the rockets, and changes their fucking trajectory back towards the Goblin Man. Me and the Goblin Man at the same fucking time are going, that's impossible. Well, the Goblin Man got blown the fuck up that day. Did you have a favorite fight or action scene in the movie?
My favorite fight or action scene in the movie, because yours is pretty good. I really Chris the Knife only really showed up that one time for fighting. The rest of the time he was just in the background chilling.
It was the only time he spoke was in that scene.
And no, he was not
the cardboard joke, and then the fucking I'm Chris the Knife.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't let him bullshit you. That motherfucker did not dance. Chris the Knife did not dance. He moved his arm elegantly.
The knife danced.
Oh,
not
my
Chris.
fault.
The knife danced.
The knife in his hand danced around and just like, nah, you ain't touching me. Nah, you ain't touching me. My favorite is when Tetsuya and Katari get found by one of the Persona humans. What are they called?
The enhanced humans.
There you go. When they get found by the enhanced Persona humans, and Darkseid shows up, and Darkseid got this fake ass move where you can just hit him with whatever you got, and it's not reflect. He just can do the shit to you.
It's like he absorbs it. So
the enhanced human has been trying to find this terrorist the whole time. He's been trying to find Tetsuya the whole time. Been on his ass the whole fucking movie. Darkseid sees him, sees his laser fingers like Dodon Ray.
He's got Frieza fingers.
No, it's Dodon Ray.
The purple beam out the finger.
But he got all 5. He could like throw out 10 and shit.
Frieza can do that.
And then he's like, take this Darkseid or whoever you are, and hits him. Nothing. It's like hitting a boss and you see 0 every time.
And again, this dude hollers at the same time I do. That's impossible.
That's impossible. Darkseid just pulls out his hand. He's like, here's it back. Catches the man in his side. He tries to run away. And he's like, you know what? Take the rest. Like Goku throwing it to Frieza. Take the rest.
The best part about all that to me was how he ricocheted off the ceiling, off the door, and down the hallway and blasted the little fella.
What would you call that power? Like, we were making jokes about calling it a genjutsu and like people melting in the floors and shit like that.
All right. So before I give it a name, for the fans and the people who have not seen this, Darkseid essentially can put you into a room of darkness. He can put you into Tsukiyomi if he feels like it looks like. When he does, it appears nothing else around seems to move. Or at least around you. And this is him diagnosing you. He's looking for your darkness.
So his favorite song is Hello Darkness, My Old Friend.
Hello Darkness, my... No, it's actually the Darkseid Blues.
Great song.
Damn good song. Damn good song. You get to hear it twice, don't you? Darkseid Blues?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So let me get back on track.
Sorry.
So Darkseid, I still don't 100% know or understand how his powers work, but I know he can stuff you into a room of darkness, which that's what he did with the enhanced human. He had him in that room of that void of darkness, and then once he started to reflect his own moves back at him, dude got hit. He broke out of the darkness and hauled ass down the hallway, which is how Darkseid was able to just massacre him.
Murdered him.
It seems like whatever power or energy or abilities that everybody else operates on this planet, this version of Earth, Darkseid operates on something completely fucking different. Like it's not even remotely the same type of anything.
Wasn't he in a different dimension?
Right. He was in the different dimension, which is why they called Redhead Guy.
Inji.
Enji, damn. Which is why they called him Enji from Africa, because they knew he was that kid and they were worried. They were like legitimately scared. Remember, Enji was like, damn, somebody who's got Girin scared? All right, let's check him out.
Most destructive fight in the whole movie. We won't say anything about it because actually it's a really good scene. And it's over quickly, though.
Talking about Enji versus Darkseid?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, I ain't going to give it all away, but that was, as far as like,
that's the prize fight.
As far as like the loss of something precious, that was a pretty bombastic fight. And it was quick. It was, as Bruce Lee would say, "In that shit quickly, son." Bruce Lee quote. It's not. But you know what I mean.
All right, Gaddafi. This movie is still always going to be the weirdest movie I've seen in my life.
Worse than Paprika?
Paprika actually made sense.
This movie makes sense.
I don't believe you. I've watched it twice, and I've watched it a third time just to pick out the parts again that I didn't understand. And I still didn't understand it. This movie feels like it's being three things at once. A mystery, a desolate future, where the kids need to be. They're against the establishment, man. They're against
anti-establishment, man.
Man.
Eat my shorts, man.
Yeah. And then the third is a whore. At the very end, when Katari did that thing.
Nah.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at overall, this movie, it is a mystery. And I think right off air, I told you this is like Dark Souls, the anime. And not for the action and for the gods and demons and da-da-da-da-da, but for all this bombastic shit happens in front of you. You get enough dialogue to put together a general story of what's going on with the anti-establishment kids and stuff. But then you have to put the rest of that shit together.
This is a movie that you don't just turn on and just walk away from.
You need to sit right there and watch the whole thing. And hopefully, if you can, shut the fuck up.
Celia. Do you believe she was a bad character? Celia?
No, I liked her. She was a nurse. She was an undercover badass. She was really hopeful. And then when she regained her gusto to be a freedom fighter. And once that dude got what he got, she was like, fuck it. I'll join. I'll fight for the right.
They did not hear her in that helicopter.
Yes, they did. It's anime.
They did not hear
It's anime.
They didn't hear her in the helicopter.
Look here, bro. I can stand on one mountain. You can stand on the top of another mountain. And you can hear me talking to you just like this.
Hell no.
It's anime. Coming away from this movie, Steve, what do you rate this movie? And why? Honestly.
A 6 out of 10. Why? There's good parts. There's excellent. The blue song was great. The setting was awesome. The fight scenes were very well drawn. Just story. If I'm not going to say if you have to think with a movie, it's bad. But when it acts like how I felt when we watched Shadow Scale, the movie, I felt like I was kind of like like I was in an arc already, and I really didn't know where I was. Kind of felt that way sometimes. Like it wasn't fully that way, but some of the movie felt like there was parts that you needed to have background on, like how I'm not gonna say how Darkseid got into that thing, but why did they send him there? Why?
That's my one big question about the movie is why did they do that? Why did they send that? Was just an experiment because they fucking could?
You think Enji was his? Remember the girl that was playing the piano? I can't remember off the top of my head. Can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was in the giant. I'm gonna call the
Talking about the one that like
The
she
orbiter?
kept disappearing.
yes.
Yeah,
All right. Do you think Gurren or the father made those children? Not in a way of like you could bow chicka wow wow. Bow,
with
chicka,
them
wow,
having
wow.
enhanced humans, it's possible. It's possible that those children were created.
Do you think Darkseid was the most powerful and they felt like they were like how I've never watched The Boys, but Homelander to America, they had to put a hydrogen bomb in his neck because they didn't know what else could kill him. Do you think they saw Darkseid and was like, we can't control this child, so let's throw him in another dimension and he'll never be back again? But in 18 years or
Considering how assholey these people are of Persona, I think he was just an experiment.
because he even said at the very end, spoilers, came out in 94, this darkness was made by Persona.
Now, I think what he meant by that was that the darkness that was amongst all the people was all the hate from all the battles and the territory being snatched and just Persona being dickheads in general. I think that's what they were talking about. Like all the suffering and all that's down there. It 30 years before this movie started, there was a war.
Yeah.
And it looks like the people of Kabuki Cho lost that motherfucker. What I'm assuming is that was possibly the last stand 30 years ago. And I'm assuming a lot of those people lost their parents and loved ones over that war.
Follow-up question. Do you believe Darkseid is, I'm not going to say real, but do you think he's an apparition? He's the symbol of the war with Persona.
Him being an interdimensional being the way he is, it's possible he's in multiple places at once. Like literally.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I believe in the Mirage Hotel when he was doing the dream treatment, he wasn't there.
I don't think he was 100% there. I don't think so. I don't think he's ever really in one spot. When he leaves places,
He's in people's darkness.
he's just gone when he leaves, and he shows up. I couldn't even really make any connections to when he shows up. I know he showed up around Mai almost every time she was around. He was around, and he also showed up around Katari.
Katari was an exceptional child.
Right,
Was reading books that AP men had to read.
right, and hadn't gotten to yet.
What is the meaning of AP? Is that
The anti-persona.
no? Isn't AP no like the college or the classes AP?
That's not what he was talking
No,
about.
it wasn't.
No, he was talking about the AP manuals and literature that they had. With Persona being in charge, they wiped out, you know, those in charge change history.
My fault. I was thinking it was like he was like a big brain.
Katari is,
Yeah.
for sure, for reading through those manuals and all those books and all that. Again, that the AP are required to have read at one point.
Why is everybody scared of Katari?
That is a great question because when we first see Katari, those three people were trying to kill him. They were going to kill him. And they even made mention that like he's so simple, he won't even realize we're doing it. But after he came out of that hole, out of the black hole that he jumped into, and after he got his dream treatment with Darkseid, he was different, and people around him treated him different. Which I'm not. He's also another big mystery. You know, why was Darkseid thrown into a different dimension? Why is he intricately attached to Katari the way he is? And what the fuck is going on with Katari?
They never answer those questions
Not
in the
even
movie.
close. Not even close.
And didn't you look up that it was just those 2 volumes of?
Yeah, 2 volumes of a manga. And I mean, I'm sure the mangas had to explain some more than what the movie did. You know, I'm sure the movie left out plenty.
You only had like an hour and 20 minutes in a movie.
Right. And with the mangas, there were 2 volumes, which I don't know how many chapters per volume, but
Feels like watching Berserk, like the first part of Berserk, not the Black Knight.
right. Not when Berserk turns into Dark Souls.
I'm ready for that.
Me too.
I am ready for that.
Oh yeah, gotta get brother Dave involved in on that.
Comment down below you want to see Berserk. Like it or not, you're still getting it though.
Yeah, we got a Berserk episode in the works.
I hope everybody's excited.
2 of them.
All right. I had a question off air, but I'm still gonna ask you anyway. Nice. Fuck. I have a question about your choice in anime that you showed me. Not all your anime is like this dystopian, anti-establishment stuff like that, but there is a couple anime that I've like watched with you and you've explained to me that have these kind of setting, like tropes, setting to the world, and that came from Akira, came from Blue Gender, Tiger and Bunny, a little bit.
Geno.
But yeah, those kind of TV shows or even movies. Is there a reason that you go towards Fist of the North Star? That's not like an anti-establishment, but it's dystopian.
Yeah. There's a few reasons why I like those kind. I'm a Captain Planet kid. I'm a 90s kid. We were taught that the guys in business suits were fucking assholes. All right? They polluted, and that they were essentially going to be the cause of Fist of the North Star. They were going to be the cause of Terminator because of those fucking assholes in suits. Because they just got to make more money and just going to keep making shit more and more dangerous for us until we fucking implode upon ourselves. With that, I also believe that when it comes to telling stories, I personally am more comfortable in one of 2 time periods, whether it be the past or the future. Because in the past, we don't really know. And there's room for all kinds of shit that could be hidden in the past. So you can tell all kinds of stories about what may have taken place in the past and da 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 da. When it comes to the future, you have no idea how we're going to evolve as a species, or if we're ever going to get off the fucking planet and finally explore the space. Or there's so many different possibilities to both of those time periods that I prefer to see those. When you deal with those time periods, a lot of times you have to deal with either a rising power or already in total control power when you deal with those 2 type time frames. I just feel like there's more room for fantasy. And you know what I mean? When you get to like something that is probably a little dystopic, I think there's more room for you know how you guys like Fallout and how factions and mutants and all this shit can exist right out there when no one's watching. How all these super fantastic things can happen when no one has Big Brother or the government, down your back. So
The NCR.
The NCR. Yeah, I like that idea. That there are factions out there developing on their own, that there's technologies or magics or powers or abilities being developed in an area, and to see how it affects the landscape that we deal with. I think in those type settings it's really cool. And I think that's where most of my fantasy and my idea of fantasy lies at. A lot of times it is dystopian. A lot of times it's also natural and beautiful. A movie of mine that I like a lot that comes to mind, we talked about it on Studio Ghibli. It was Nazca of the Valley of the Wind, where they lived in like the world had already crumbled and we're the leftover people or whatever. And all the giant cities have now become poisonous jungles where you have all these natural wonders and creatures, existing. And then you also still have like someone trying to take charge. You have the kingdom still trying to take charge. And then you still have old world technology that, again, it's so far in the past. Sure, it's so far in their past, but so far in our future that you have no idea what could have been created when like they created the Titans. And those Titans could shoot Kamehamehas out of their mouths. There's all kinds of space and opportunity. It's almost, again, like like Dark Souls. I hate to say that, but when you play Dark Souls or Elden Ring or Bloodborne or Sekiro, you know from like not the giddy up because it takes time to understand, but you pretty much know that there's a whole like plethora of stories that took place before you got to this point here. And I like to kind of piece all that shit together.
Peace.
I like to kind of piece it all together. Peace. I like to kind of
Like
piece it
you're
all
hitting
together.
this shit.
Peace. I like to kind of piece it all together for my own story. My own story. Like you get the story that they give you, and that's awesome. That's cool. It's amazing. I love it. And I love the world you've crafted. And now I want to look in the background and all the details and hear what the people say and how they react and like why they're being I want to know what all that feels like. Like I want to try to put all that together and make another story about it. Not make another story, but understand more of your story because of the clues that you've left me.
That was a great explanation.
Thank you.
Feels a little bit better than just saying I like dystopian futures.
So since I have essentially shown you not mostly, but some dystopian and some wacky shit, I've tried to show you things that I feel that you would like also, and not just things that like, oh, Gaddafi says this is great. Because, we tried to watch Tenchi Muyo, and I don't know if you have the patience for it. Eventually, we're going to have to watch Sailor Moon, and you're going to hate me for that.
I hated you for Kaniku Man.
But Kaniku Man was awesome.
It took a while, man.
Tiger Mask started off pretty awesome, and then just tanked. I hated you for that, because that was a hard one to get through.
Maybe I should have watched Tiger Mask and you should have watched
You certainly should have fucking watched Tiger Mask.
I told you.
I told you, and you no. Oh, what? But anyway, the question I want to ask you is the types of movies, Dark Side Blues especially, do you like them? Types of movies and shows that I've shown you.
As those dystopian futures, you've only shown me, I think, 2 movies.
And shows. Have I not shown you any shows yet? Not Bubblegum Crisis?
But that's
It's not dystopian.
I only watched like the first I watched the 2 episodes.
Right, there's like 4. But
There's like
6.
There's 6.
But
So like, yeah, man, I can't really ask that question. I can't answer that question.
you can answer if you've liked the things that I've shown you.
The setting,
That's what I'm asking. The things that I've shown you overall. And, specifically from what you're thinking of, the way you asked me the question you asked me, I'm asking you specifically the things that I have shown you. Did you like them?
no.
Okay.
That's my explanation.
That's it?
All right. If you're asking me how I like these type of movies, these type of settings, not particularly. Feels dirty. I really don't like the anti-establishment kind of thing. Kind of feels like it's run down, but it was the 90s, so it kind of makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Everybody loved the anti-hero. But I like an action. It's romance in there, little comedy. It has to be a little bit joyful. It can be hardcore. There absolutely can be hardcore shit. Hardcore horror, suspicion, anything. Murder. Like hardcore shit can happen. But it just feels so down. Like it is just too down for me. I don't like a lot of down things.
Uppers, man.
No, it's not that. But I don't. It didn't click for me. Kenzo's cool. I like him because he's thick necked. And
He was the actual, like, comedy relief. Like, comedic relief. It was Kenzo.
they straight up made a scene to make him do a torture rack.
He was outside whooping ass and decided, let me put this dude in the torture rack while I got
And
time.
that's probably what they do in some shows or anime movies. Like they have to have that one person that's kind of like a little bit of a joke character.
It's like that in a lot of movies. Like,
Can't always be serious.
not everybody can be serious all the time.
Can't be all dark side.
Right. Not everybody can just be depressed. Because even Mai wasn't depressed. She was
Very angry.
angry and felt helpless. And that's what Darkseid kind of gave back to her. Was her sense of worth and ability.
And
Not
confidence.
just yes.
She was a drunk.
She got Mai got her new groove.
Celia got a new man.
Terry Bogard style.
Is she Terry Bogard?
Possibly.
Is the gun?
I have
hold on.
because like
Actually, it's the gun.
She mentioned that like
It's the gun.
the gun always comes back.
It's like a boomerang.
And like
Rang.
how long did he have that gun?
Like in anime time, probably like 10 minutes.
That was like
in real
if-
people time, 1 minute.
That was like if when Tsunade gave Naruto the damn necklace, the Kage necklace.
No, it was a kiss. It was
the
kiss.
necklace.
No, if she bets on somebody.
She gave him the necklace. That's as if when she gave him the necklace, if he would have walked down the street and got run over by a car.
It was the betting because she bet on Jiraiya and we all know what happened there. It could have been such a great ending.
She should have gave him cheeks before he left. You know what's sad is Sakura tried that shit too. You know, to stop a motherfucker from doing. Yeah, that's like the worst thing she ever did.
That was like so like too late.
Naruto, what are you doing? I love you.
No, that was way like
Like-
like
The way he looked at her was the way I was looking at the screen. It was like,
bitch. No,
fucking, was this your plan?
all right, no, let's get off. We're getting off topic. Final thoughts about Dark Side Blues and your rating. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I didn't like some of the parts I didn't understand. There were great parts, but it wasn't the greatest movie I thought.
I give it an 8 out of 10 for one really big reason. I'm visual. I'm mostly visual. I have to go back 8 or 9 times to watch something to get my story.
Stop lying. Stop lying.
I give it an 8. I love the animation style. I love the way it looks. I love the way it sounds. I like putting together the mystery. For me, this is a great movie. It's not a perfect movie by any means, because I still don't come out of it with any better understanding at the end of it. But if anybody can, break this bitch down and comment it to me, let me know. Leave comments below.
I gotta say, this movie didn't make a lot of fucking sense, but I enjoyed at least watching it. I can scratch it off the bucket list now of all the anime I'll ever watch. Because, like, there's so much fucking anime. Hey, you know what? I scratched it off. Now I got 10 million more. There you go. But try it out for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Your opinion's your opinion. Thank you for listening.
Go check out the Edgelord Blues.
It's on YouTube.
Straight up for free. And we have been the Fighting Couch Potatoes. I'm Gaddafi Crush.
And I'm Liquid Gold Steve. Like, share, and subscribe. Come on, guys. We can make 100, right?
We gonna get that 100. We gonna get that 100, and we gonna get more than that. Thanks for stopping by. And you stay classy.
Was that bad?